You need a walker with that, Gramps? Lieutenant Ryan Briggs leans over the scarred table, his shadow cutting across the solitary figure in the corner booth. Cole Harrison doesn't look up. He sits perfectly still, 74 years old, wearing a faded green shirt and canvas jacket that smells of rain. His hands rest on either side of a shot glass, wrinkled, liver-spotted, but steady. Perfectly steady. The bar falls quiet. In 15 minutes, someone will walk through that door who knows exactly who Cole is. Everything changes then. The Iron Compass is a dive bar 3 blocks from Norfolk Naval Base. Sawdust covers the floor. Neon beer signs buzz overhead with irregular flickers. The air smells of stale beer and floor wax. It is a place for loud stories and louder lies. Tonight, a group of 5 young SEALs occupies the center of the room. They are apex predators here, or so they think. Lieutenant Ryan Briggs stands at their center, fresh off a successful extraction mission in Somalia. He is riding the high of adrenaline and the invincibility of youth. He sees an old man taking up the best booth in the house, a relic who doesn't understand the hierarchy. I said, "Are you deaf?" Briggs repeats, louder this time. He performs for his audience. 4 other SEALs stand behind him, clutching bottles of craft beer and wearing grins that suggest they own the world. "We need this booth. Active duty only. There's a VFW 2 blocks down." Cole slowly lifts the glass to his lips. He takes a sip, savoring the burn of cheap whiskey. He sets it back down with a soft clink that sounds deafening in the sudden silence. His fingers tighten slightly around the glass, knuckles showing white for just a second. He finally raises his eyes. They are gray, clouded slightly by age, but possessing a depth that feels like looking down a very deep, very cold well. "I'm fine right here, son," Cole says. His voice is gravel rolling down a dry hill, low, unbothered. Briggs chuckles, a dry, humorless sound. He looks back at his squad, seeking validation. They give it with snickers and nods. Torres, one of the other SEALs, steps forward. "Look at him," Torres says. "Probably thinks he's tough because he did a tour peeling potatoes in '72. Hey, Grandpa, what was your specialty? Mess hall or laundry duty?" The group erupts in laughter. It is cruel, sharp laughter meant to cut. Cole doesn't flinch. He continues staring at his drink, watching light refract through the whiskey. His jaw tightens fractionally, a micro-expression that disappears as quickly as it came. "You guys should show some respect," says a voice from behind the bar. Mickey, the bartender, is a large man with a thick beard and a history in the Marine Corps that he rarely speaks about. He wipes a glass with aggressive motions. He's not bothering anyone. "Stay out of this, Mickey," Briggs snaps without looking back. "This is Navy business. We're just trying to figure out who we're sharing our air with." Briggs turns his attention back to Cole. He sees the way Cole sits. It isn't the slouch of a defeated man. It is the stillness of a hunter in a blind. But Briggs is too young and too arrogant to recognize the difference. He mistakes the stillness for fear. "Come on, old man," Briggs goads, leaning closer. The smell of premium beer wafts into Cole's face. "If you're going to sit at the Warriors' table, you have to pay the toll. Tell us about your service." "Who were you? Did you ever even leave the dock?" Cole remains silent. His shoulders stiffen slightly. Another fleeting micro-expression. "I bet I know," Briggs continues, his voice dripping with condescension. "You were supply. You spent your time counting crates while real men were out there doing the work that let you sleep at night. That's it, isn't it?" Cole reaches into his pocket. The movement is so fast that for a split second Briggs flinches. His hand twitches toward his waistband before he stops himself, realizing how foolish he looks reacting to an old man reaching for a wallet. Cole pulls out a crumpled $10 bill. He places it on the table. "For the drink," Cole says to Mickey. He starts to slide out of the booth. He has decided it isn't worth it. The quiet dignity of retreat is better than a brawl with children. But Briggs isn't done. He felt the flinch he made, and it shames him. He needs to regain the upper hand. He steps in front of Cole, blocking his exit. "Not so fast," Briggs says, crossing his arms. "You don't just walk away when I'm talking to you. You want to leave? You answer a question first. Cole stops. He looks up at Briggs, and for the first time a flicker of annoyance crosses his face. It is brief, like a ripple on a pond. Get out of my way, son, Cole says. Briggs laughs. Or what? You going to hit me with your arthritis? Taking a breath here. Cole Harrison's story hit different because it proves that the quietest people in the room often carry the heaviest burdens. If you're still here, drop your location below. Means more than you know. Briggs leans in, his face inches from Cole's. Look, it's a simple question. In the teams, we have call signs, names earned in blood and mud. Names that mean something. I'm Cobra. That's what they call me because I strike without warning. He points to Torres. That's Hammer. He breaks things. Briggs leans closer. So if you were ever anything more than a paper pusher, you'd have a name. What is it, old man? What's your call sign? Or did they just call you Chief Coffee? But what Cole didn't know was that behind the bar, Mickey had just seen something that made his blood run cold. The question hangs in the air, a challenge that demands an answer. The disrespect is palpable, a physical weight pressing down on the room. Cole Douglas looks at Briggs, really looks at him. For a second, the dive bar dissolves. The smells of stale beer vanish, replaced by the thick, rotting stench of jungle floor. The air is no longer cool. It is a suffocating blanket of humidity and heat. The neon lights are gone, replaced by the silver sliver of a moon cutting through triple canopy rainforest. Cole is young again in this flash. Mud smeared across his face, breathing shallow and controlled. He is holding a knife, not a drink. He is alone. He has been alone for 4 days behind enemy lines on the Laos-Cambodia border, tracking a target that entire companies failed to find. He moves through foliage without disturbing a single leaf. He is a ghost. He is a myth. He remembers the voice of his commanding officer over the radio, crackling with static. We have no assets in the area. You're on your own, Reaper. Reaper. The word echoes in his mind, bringing with it memories of things done in the dark, of burdens carried so that others could live in the light. The weight of that name is heavier than any armor. It is a name spoken in whispers by allies and in terrified screams by enemies. The flash ends as quickly as it began. Cole blinks. The jungle fades back into the grimy reality of the iron compass. He looks at the young, arrogant face of Lieutenant Briggs. He feels a profound sense of pity. You don't want to know, Cole says softly. Briggs throws his head back and laughs. Oh, I think I do. I think the whole bar does. Come on, let's hear it. What did they call the man who filed the paperwork? Speedy the Stapler? Mickey, the bartender, has seen enough. He had been watching Cole closely, not with the eyes of a civilian, but with the eyes of a man who had seen combat. When Cole reached for his wallet, his sleeve had ridden up just an inch. It was a small thing, unnoticed by the loud seals. But Mickey saw it. It wasn't a tattoo, it was a scar, a burn mark, perfectly circular, branded into the inside of the right wrist. Mickey freezes. He has heard stories about that mark. Rumors passed down in hushed tones in NCO clubs for 40 years. It is the mark of a unit that didn't officially exist. A unit that operated so far off the books that the CIA denied knowing them. They were the ghosts of the Vietnam era and the Cold War. Mickey drops the rag he is holding. His heart hammers against his ribs. He looks at the old man, the stillness, the dead eyes, the absolute lack of fear. The pieces click into place. This isn't just a veteran. This is a legend. Mickey backs away from the bar, moving toward the office door. He needs to make a call. There is a number taped to the inside of the safe, a number given to him by the owner of the bar, a retired admiral with strict instructions. If you ever see a man with a circular brand on his right wrist, you call this number. You don't ask questions. You don't engage. You call. Mickey bursts into the office. His hands shake as he dials. He listens to the ring, feeling the seconds tick by like hours. Hello? A voice answers, sharp, authoritative. This is Mickey at the Iron Compass, he stammers. I think he's here. Who's here? The Reaper, Mickey whispers. The man with the circle brand. He's here, And there's a group of young frogs giving him a hard time. It's about to get ugly. There is silence on the other end of the line so profound that Mickey thinks the call has dropped. Then the voice returns, colder than ice. Don't let them touch him. Don't let them disrespect him. I'm 4 minutes away. Keep the peace, Mickey, or God help us all. That insult was about to change everything. Back in the main room, the tension has stretched to its breaking point. Briggs is no longer laughing. The old man's refusal to play the game is infuriating him. It feels like a direct challenge to his authority. I'm making this an order, Briggs barks, his voice cracking slightly. I'm a commissioned officer in the United States Navy. You will identify yourself and you will vacate this table. Cole stands up. He moves slowly. His joints pop audibly. He stands at his full height, only 5'8", significantly shorter than Briggs. But somehow in that moment he seems to loom over the lieutenant. I was serving this country before your father was a glint in the milkman's eye, Cole says, his voice steady. I've earned my seat. Now move. Briggs's face goes purple. His eyes narrow fractionally, rage replacing arrogance. You listen to me. You washed up old... He reaches out and shoves Cole. It isn't a violent shove, just a push to the shoulder. To emphasize his point. To physically move the obstacle. The moment Briggs's hand makes contact with Cole's jacket, the air in the room seems to shatter. Cole doesn't stumble. He doesn't even sway. He simply looks at the hand on his shoulder, then up at Briggs's face. That was a mistake, Cole whispers. Mickey comes running out from behind the bar, vaulting over the counter. Lieutenant, stand down. That's a direct order from the owner. Stand down. Briggs spins around. Shut up, Mickey. This civilian put his hands on me first. He's not a civilian, you idiot, Mickey roars, placing himself between the two men. Briggs shoves Mickey aside. His blood is boiling. He turns back to Cole, his fist clenched. I'm going to teach you a lesson in respect, old man. Briggs raises his hand, ready to grab Cole by the collar and drag him out the front door. He wants to humiliate him, to show the room who the alpha is. He is past the point of reason. A woman at the bar stands up. She is a Navy veteran herself, in her 50s, wearing a USS Enterprise ball cap. She watches the scene with growing alarm. Lieutenant, she calls out, you need to stop right now. Briggs ignores her. Torres steps forward, putting a hand on Briggs's shoulder. Ryan, maybe we should stay out of this, Briggs snaps. The room holds its breath. Every patron watches. Nobody moves. The jukebox has gone silent. Even the buzzing neon seems to have stopped. Cole stands perfectly still. His gaze drops to the floor for just a second. A micro-expression of weariness, not fear. Briggs takes a step closer. His hands are trembling with adrenaline. Then the front door of the bar explodes open. It isn't a kick. It is a tidal wave of force. The heavy oak door slams against the wall with a crack that sounds like a gunshot. Every head in the bar snaps toward the entrance. Standing in the doorway is not a fleet of MPs. It is a single man. He is wearing a dress blue uniform, immaculate, with rows of ribbons that stack almost to his shoulder. The stars on his collar catch the neon light. It is Admiral Vance, the Norfolk base commander. Behind him stand two men in dark suits, earpieces visible, posture radiating lethal intent. The Admiral was about to reveal a truth that would shatter everything these young SEALs thought they knew. Admiral Vance steps into the room. The silence that falls is absolute. It is a vacuum. The music has been cut. The clinking of glasses stops. Even breathing seems to cease. Briggs freezes, his hand still half raised toward Cole. His eyes widen as he recognizes the Admiral. He snaps to attention so fast his spine audibly cracks. "Admiral on deck!" Briggs shouts, his voice trembling. The other SEALs scramble to attention, spilling beer in their haste. They stand rigid, eyes locked forward, terror replacing the arrogance on their faces. Admiral Vance does not acknowledge them. He doesn't even look at them. His eyes are locked on the old man in the corner booth. Vance walks across the room. His dress shoes click rhythmically on the hardwood floor. The sound is the only thing in the universe. He marches straight past Briggs, brushing the lieutenant's shoulder as if he were a piece of furniture. Vance stops 3 feet in front of Cole Harrison. The Admiral's face is a mask of stone, but his eyes are shimmering. He looks at Cole's weathered face, the gray stubble, the weary eyes. Then slowly, with a precision and snap that would make a drill instructor weep, Admiral Vance raises his hand in a salute. It isn't a perfunctory salute. It is a salute of deep, abiding reverence. He holds it. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Cole Harrison looks at the Admiral. A small, crooked smile touches his lips. He slowly raises his hand and returns the salute. Casually, but with the grace of muscle memory that never fades. "At ease, David," Cole says softly. Admiral Vance drops his hand. He lets out a breath he seems to have been holding for years. "It's been a long time, Master Chief," Vance says, his voice thick with emotion. "We thought you were dead. We lost track of you after Angola." "I like being dead," Cole replies, sitting back down on the bench. It's quieter. The room remains frozen. Briggs and his squad are paralyzed. Their minds race, trying to compute what is happening. "Master Chief, Angola." The Admiral is saluting an enlisted man. Admiral Vance turns slowly. The warmth vanishes from his face, replaced by a cold fury that makes the earlier tension seem like a playground squabble. He looks at Lieutenant Briggs. Briggs is sweating profusely. Droplets run down his temple. "Lieutenant," Vance says, his voice low and dangerous. "Sir," Briggs squeaks. "Do you know who this man is?" "No, sir. He wouldn't give his name, sir. He was refusing to vacate the booth for active duty personnel." Vance steps closer to Briggs. He invades his space just as Briggs invaded Cole's. "This man," Vance says, projecting his voice so every soul in the bar can hear, "is Cole Harrison, but you wouldn't find him in your databases. His file is black. It's been black since 1967. Vance points a finger at Cole. "When I was a brand new ensign in the Mekong Delta, my patrol boat was ambushed. We were taking heavy fire from 3 sides. We were sinking. We called for air support, but the weather was too bad. We called for extraction, but they said it was too hot. We were dead men." Vance pauses, his eyes boring into Briggs. Then out of the tree line, one man came. One man. He didn't have a squad, he didn't have air support. He had a knife and a rifle. He moved through that ambush like death itself. He silenced 4 machine gun nests in under 5 minutes. He dragged me and 8 of my men 4 miles through a swamp with 2 bullets in his leg. Vance looks back at Cole with reverence. We asked him his name. He didn't say a word. We asked for his call sign. He just looked at us and disappeared back into the jungle. We later found out the enemy had a name for him. They called him the Reaper, because when he showed up, life ended for them. Briggs's face is the color of ash. He looks at the old man in the green shirt, the man he mocked, the man he tried to physically remove. He feels nausea rising in his gut. The truth was seconds away from destroying their careers. Vance turns back to Briggs. His voice drops to a deadly whisper that somehow fills the entire room. "You asked for his call sign, Lieutenant. You wanted to know if he was a cook." He steps even closer. His face inches from Briggs. "This man has more confirmed kills with a blade than you have days in the service. He is the reason SEAL teams have the reputation they do. He wrote the doctrine you're trying to learn, and you tried to throw him out of a bar." Briggs can't speak. His mouth opens and closes like a fish. I, Vance roars, the sound shaking the walls. "You are an officer. You're supposed to be a leader, and here you are, bullying an old man because you think your trident makes you a god." Vance rips the patch off Briggs's uniform, the unit patch on his shoulder. The sound of the Velcro tearing is violent. "This man earned his trident before it even existed. He is the pioneer of your warfare, and you treated him like garbage." Vance's voice drops again, but it carries the weight of a sledgehammer. "You are a disgrace to the uniform, Lieutenant. You and your men are confined to quarters, effective immediately. You will face a board of inquiry tomorrow morning at 800. I will personally strip you of your command. Now get out of my sight before I forget I'm an officer and handle this the way the Master Chief would." He leans in one final time. "Get out." Briggs and his squad scramble. They stumble over each other in their haste to reach the door. They don't look back. They flee into the night. Their careers in ashes, their arrogance shattered. The door swings shut behind them, leaving a ringing silence in the bar. Admiral Vance turns back to Cole. He composes himself, smoothing his uniform. "I apologize, Cole. I should have taught them better. The standards are slipping." Cole chuckles softly. He pushes the empty shot glass toward the center of the table. "They're young, David. They're full of fire and vinegar. They just haven't been burned yet. Don't be too hard on them. They just need to learn that the ocean is deep and there are always bigger fish." Vance nods. "Can I buy you a drink, Reaper? For old time's sake?" Cole shakes his head, standing up. His knees crack again. "No. I think I've had enough noise for one night. I just wanted a quiet drink." He buttons his canvas jacket. He looks small again, just an old man ready for bed, but nobody in that room will ever see him as just an old man again. As Cole walks toward the door, the patrons of the bar, bikers, locals, off-duty sailors, part for him. They stand up one by one without a word being spoken. It isn't a military formation. It is a jagged, messy line of respect. As Cole passes, heads bow. Someone starts to clap, then stops, realizing silence is the higher honor. Cole pauses at the door. He looks back at Admiral Vance. "David," he says. "Yes, Cole." "Tell the bartender the kid paid for my drink. He left a 10 on the table, but the kid's ego should cover the rest." Cole pushes the door open and steps out into the cool night air. Vance watches him go, a look of profound sadness and pride on his face. He walks over to the table where Cole had been sitting. He picks up the empty shot glass. He holds it up to the light. For a moment, the bar remains silent. Then Mickey clears his throat. "Admiral, what can I get you?" Vance sets the glass down gently. "Nothing, Mickey. Just leave this glass here. Nobody sits at this table tonight." Vance turns to the room. "You all saw nothing tonight. Is that clear?" "Clear, Admiral," a chorus of voices replies. The Admiral nods and walks out, his security detail trailing him. The door closes. The hum of the neon sign returns. Somewhere in a small house on the edge of Norfolk, an old man sits on his porch, sipping coffee, watching the sunrise. His hands are steady. His eyes are clear. He is just Cole to his neighbors. But to those who know, to those who felt the temperature drop when he spoke, he will always be the Reaper. The people who protect us most are often the ones we never see. The missions that save lives never make the news. Sometimes the quietest voice in the room is the one that changed everything. Stories like this exist because people like Cole exist. And people like you recognize them. Subscribe for more military stories that honor those whose silence and sacrifice changed everything. Until next time.